Murray Bookchin is a venerable and visionary community organizer. He's been a relentless advocate of decentralized decision-making structures and a tireless social ecologist. He is a most pertinent keynote speaker for our conference. He has published several books such as The Ecology of Freedom and Our Synthetic Environment. He's the founder and director of the Institute for Social Ecology at Goddard College, Burlington, Vermont. We have asked him to set the tone for the conference. I introduce you now to Murray Bookchin.
Thank you. Is there any difficulty with this microphone at this tone of voice? Can you hear me without the microphone? Is this all right? No? Okay, thank you. We are obviously living in a time of tremendous ecological crisis. I just recently returned from Germany, which I toured for approximately a month, and I was given very demonstrable evidence, not in the form of water pollution, not in the form of food chemicalization, not in the form of air pollution, bad as these things were. But I saw something which I don't think I ever anticipated seeing, and that is the fact that 50% of Germany's forests are either dead or dying. 50%, with every prospect that the remainder will disappear. I went through the Schwarzwald, or the Black Forest, areas that I had visited only 5 years before and that looked like a moonscape. I was told that you couldn't plant anything there. The soil is simply intractable. It may not look like concrete, but it responds to vegetation, to seeds, to any form of implantation the way ordinary concrete would. It's a moonscape. And there was a sense of real panic amongst the people who showed me these terrifying scenes, which, as I said, I never anticipated. In all the writings that I've been involved in on ecological and environmental problems for the past 30 years, 33 years to be exact, oddly enough, having published my first work in book form in German. A veritable moonscape. 50% of their forests are gone. And I was told that this is taking place throughout Central Europe, and like a cancer is gradually eroding much of the European continent. In my own state, in Vermont, an appreciable area already, particularly on the mountaintops, have become moonscapes, acid rain. Again, something I would never have anticipated. And in a sense, what is happening there, that imagery that it conveys, reflects for me the deepest problems that are being faced today by our society environmentally and ecologically. What we are doing today is not only polluting the planet, we are not only poisoning perhaps the greater part of humanity today. The cancer death rates are growing to a point where the American Cancer Society now says, you are very fortunate. Your chances of dying of cancer are actually 2 out of 3. Before that, it used to be an alarmist statement. 1 out of 5 will die of cancer. Support the American ACS. Now they are ringing a positive note. Only 2 out of 3 will not die of cancer. Support the ACS. So you can argue the question either way. I love the subtleties of the scholastic reasoning here. Radioactivity, pollution, rising cancer rates, coronary disease, and other diseases usually associated with degenerative diseases, associated with elderly people, are now invading age groups in the teens and in the 20s. One hears today of cerebral hemorrhages in people who are only 25 years of age, things that were unknown to my generation in the 1930s. So we are doing something over and beyond poisoning this planet, exhausting this planet. If there is anything that these scenes depicted to me, it was the fact that we are setting back the evolutionary clock to a simpler ecological world. We are simplifying the planet. We are turning back the whole clock of evolution An evolution that has been the development of ever greater variety, of ever greater interconnection, of ever greater interparticipation to a world that is more primal, that is billions of years older than this one. When life still was in a sense a parochial phenomenon isolated in shallow seas, had barely colonized the landscape which we are now destroying, which we are now reducing to an age that goes back 4 billion years ago. So we are doing something within a span of only one generation and possibly two that has not been done not only over the whole course of humanity, but over the whole course of millions of years of zoology, of zoological and botanical evolution. We are simplifying the planet. It is that form of simplification which constitutes the terrifying pollution that we are bringing to this planet. We are polluting its complexity. We are polluting its diversity. We are undermining the rich variety that created our biosphere and that made it possible for species like our own to develop in an evolutionary sense and in a social sense. We are pushing back the clock of geology. And with that, we are making the planet more radioactive, more reminiscent of an age when the Earth was just being formed. And we are doing this within a span of only 25 to 50 years at a pace that far and away exceeds anything that has happened in the past. And not only are we simplifying the planet ecologically and pushing back the ecological clock such that we as a species will not be able to sustain ourselves on the planet, affecting hydrologic cycles, affecting geochemical cycles, affecting the very atmosphere in which we live, changing the ratio of the gases in the planet, removing tropical forests that have been with us for 60 million years at the rate of 4 million trees a day. 4 million trees a day. This in addition to the acid rain that is falling on Central Europe and now on a great deal of North America. We are also simplifying the human spirit. We are destroying community. We are destroying the rich variety of human associations and interconnections, familial, kinship, friendship, the rich neighborhoods, the support systems, the decentralized, balanced communities between town and country. We are simplifying all our social relationships to a point where they become brutish mass media, where the imagery is that of a Kojak, of a .45 caliber pistol in hand, of a Clint Eastwood who's honored cinematically in Paris today as a cinematic genius for taciturnity and brutishness. We are witnessing a time right now, I think this is disconnected, we are witnessing a time right now where our interrelationships are being undermined just as our ecology is being undermined. We are witnessing the mineralization of the human spirit just as we are mineralizing the planet itself, so that brute experiences, cataclysms, shock is the message of the mass media, is the message of the press, in order to awaken in us some type of sensory reaction, some type of emotional experience. And we go to our psychotherapists in vast numbers, and we ask questions like, why, not why do I have an eye twitch, why does my hand tremble? Did I see something through the keyhole when I was 3 years old? The conventional psychotherapeutic questions of the 1930s and 40s. Now the analysts are complaining that the great majority of patients who come to them ask them, who am I? Who am I? What am I? Why am I? Not what is it that